Hey, this is John Young. Today we're looking at, of course, the Everse 8, Everse 12, but we're doing something that you guys have been asking about, putting a sub under it. This is the EKX, this is the 15 SP, the 15-inch sub. And what we're doing in this particular test is I want to go and compare and see what kind of sound pressure we can get, but we're going to be testing it right here. So that's going to be, let's see, this is about, there. So from this to the end of my hand is 6 feet, and so you're about 5.5. You're gonna be about 5 feet away, 4.5, 5 feet away from the speakers in this little test. We're gonna have the decibel meter here, so you can see what they're doing. But first, I'm gonna go and put some music to it at a little bit lower volume, so you can get an idea of what they sound like. Both of these have been everything's set to 0. Nothing is set with a bump in the gain or anything to that effect. They're set for music, and the sub is set for sub. Yeah. The tops are both rolling off at 120. So everything below 120 we're putting to the sub, and the sub is, of course, set for 120. So that's the way we did this particular test. I would assume with the 12 here that we could probably go down to 100 and take a little bit off the sub. But what's really kind of cool about this is at 120, the 3 units, as we're running them, and we run them to pretty much pushing them to see where that top limit point is, the 3 of them all are starting to have that flicker of the limit about the same time, when they're set at 120 on the top and 120 on the bottom. So that becomes kind of an ideal situation, because if I'm out performing and I'm using that and I can't see the sub, but I can see the top, if I know if my tops are starting to flicker in this configuration, I know that my subs are pretty much at their max too. So that's why this 120 works really well for this test. So we're going to go ahead and put some music on. We're going to let you listen to it a little bit. Then we're going to go into the part where we have the decibel meter, so you can see exactly between the two of them. And then we will come back and talk to you a little bit more. So during this test, we're going to run the same volume through both speakers, and we're not going to modify the audio you hear whatsoever. So it's getting the same sound here as the same sound here, and let's go. So there it is. You got to hear, you got to see the results. And I think probably the biggest thing that was surprising to me is the amount of sound pressure. I was expecting more because these are more efficient. The 12 is more efficient than an 8. They have the same basically innards, we'll call it, for amplifier and different things. They've got a little bit different programming because of how they are, just different cabinets. But I was expecting, I would have expected instead, we had like roughly about a max of 110 out of that, and we had a max of about 111 out of this. I was hoping for like a 112 or, just a little bit more, because as you're sitting here, it's really, really tough to tell a difference in sound pressure between the two. If you're playing them both side by side, you'd swear they were basically the same speaker, just a little bit different configuration. So I was a little surprised with that. Sound quality, what I am hearing when I'm not wearing earplugs, is I think it almost sounds like that the 8 sounds a little bit happier, for lack of a better way to describe it, when it comes to the music. And I don't know why that is. It's probably because maybe the vocals and things are coming out of the 8 instead of the 12, trying to push the vocals out. But I almost like the sound of the vocals and such coming out of the 8 better than I like them coming out of the 12. But I like the bass that's coming out of the 12, even though it has a sub, and they both are using the sub. There's just something in that low, the high end of the bass, the the low end of the voices and different things. There's just a fullness you get here that we're not getting here. So it's kind of an interesting little thing. I suppose if you're a person who likes a little bit more bass, this is definitely where you want to be. If you're someone who's just needing to have a vocal, if you're a busker who's just doing vocals, maybe the 8 is going to be your best option. They're both very good quality sound. It's just that there's a little bit of voicing difference between the two. Anyway, let me know what you thought. What did you think about the sound? Did you hear something I didn't hear? Put that down in the comment section, and we will catch up with you next time.